Hi guys, welcome to Sportstar. I am Ayan Acharya and I am joined on this lovely afternoon by my colleague Dhruva. Hi Dhruva.
Hi.
Right, so after much anticipation, confusion, words you normally associate with India's squad announcement, of course, the team for the Asia Cup 2023 is finally out. Do you remember the names on the top of your head? I've got the list in front of me, but we've had two lists actually that came out in the space of 6 to 7 minutes before the final list was announced by the chairman of selectors, Ajit Agkar. I've got it in front of me. So before we go any further, I'll just quickly for our viewers read out the names. You've got Rohit Sharma, the captain, followed by Shubman Gill, Ishan Kishan, Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya is the Hardik Pandya is the vice captain, Surya Kumar Yadav, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Tilak Verma, Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Shardul Thakur, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, Shami, Kuldeep Yadav, and Prasid Krishna, with Sanju Samson as a travelling reserve. So, Dhruva, let's get the ball rolling. Your initial thoughts?
Yeah, it's pretty heartening to see that finally India has you could say, a full strength squad.
Yeah.
No, there are no considerations for workload management or injuries as such. Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul are the biggest positives. They have been included in the squad.
Sorry to just butt in. Since you spoke about having a full strength squad, let's not forget the reason why Sanju Samson has been included is because, as Ajit Agarkar said on air, KL Rahul is still carrying a niggle.
Yeah.
It's not the back injury that it's not the injury that had set him out for so long, but it's still a niggle. However, one hopes that he'll be fully fit for the Asia Cup. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of, for the moment at least, if they remain fit, kind of fixes our middle order problem that India has had of late. And otherwise, Tilak Verma,
Right.
he's been included in the squad. Little surprising, considering that he is yet to play an ODI, but obviously had a great T20I series in the West Indies. Didn't really get going in the Ireland series so far. But yeah, his left-handedness could actually come into play, considering India has a somewhat right-handed heavy batting lineup. What do you think about him being included in the squad?
Yeah, I mean, if our viewers remember, just a couple of weeks back on our podcast, we spoke about the Indian selectors throwing a curveball. You asked me if Tilak Verma would make the cut, and well, as much as I wanted him to, I then thought that he wouldn't, and here we are. 2 weeks later, Tilak Verma is set to make his ODI debut. He's not played a one-day game yet, but again, it's an interesting left field choice, given the fact that even Rishabh Pant and Pant the batter is going to miss the Asia Cup. We all know what kind of an impact Pant has had, in the lower order. So, of course, Tilak is a great addition. He'll also up the fielding of the side, so that
Can also bowl off spin.
Can also bowl off spin. I mean, if it comes to that, then I think Rohit Sharma has a few headaches. So, but moving on from Tilak Verma, beyond that, one would say that it's a pretty, it's a squad that's on expected lines.
Yeah, I would say that some people might disagree, considering that Sanju Samson has been named as a travelling reserve and not in the 17-member squad. Maybe he could have got a look in ahead of Surya Kumar Yadav. I mean, looking at how Surya's ODI performance has been of late. But again, I think they have probably gone with an attacking option, and they feel that maybe he can, in that middle order, if he gets to play, that is, he can maybe, up the tempo or whatever. So, but otherwise, I think some interesting calls in the bowling department. I feel it's a little light on bowling. I would say the squad, and again, we'll have to see if the India goes with the 3-spinner formula and then plays Bumrah, Siraj and Shami as pacers. So, what do you think? Like 6 bowlers, 7 bowlers in the 11?
I'll say this: it's a batting heavy team. It's light on bowling, as you correctly pointed out. As far as the bowling, the makeup is concerned, I'm pretty sure. Of course, it's a squad pick for the Asia Cup, but they do have the World Cup in mind. And given the venues that India is going to play at, I doubt they will pick 3 spinners unless it's very evident that the wicket's going to turn square. right from the start. Maybe for their opening game against Australia in Chennai, if they get a wicket like that. But if this is more or less going to be the squad for the World Cup, it's very evident that India is going in with a batting heavy unit and they are expecting to put up big scores, which their bowlers can then defend. The one thing that did surprise me was the exclusion of Yuzvendra Chahal. Of course, Ajit Agarkar and Rohit Sharma, both of them addressed this in the press conference. They said that there was place for just one leggy, and it was Kuldeep, according to them, who's ahead, is what Ajit Agarkar said of Chahal at the moment. But it is a double-edged argument in that they have got off spinners Jadeja and Akshar Patel, left arm spinners, who pretty much have the same vocation. I mean, in terms of batting also they are very similar. So you feel Chahal would be right in feeling hard done by at the moment?
I think it was always going to be Kuldeep ahead of, if you had to pick one of them on current form, I think it was always going to be Kuldeep. And because I think a lot of consideration has also gone into strengthening or making that adding that batting depth, and that's why maybe Akshar Patel has probably got a look in ahead of Chahal. And I think that number 8, I think even Rohit Sharma spoke about that. That number 8 is actually a spot that is up for grabs if we look at it, because your top 7 is pretty much set. Especially with the return of Rahul and Ayan. So that number 8 is actually going to be tricky. Like, do you play Shardul Thakur, who is also in the squad, or do you pick Akshar Patel? Both are good with the bat. Akshar Patel more so. But then again, if you play Akshar ahead of Shardul, then again you have that 3 spinner thing, and then you have 3 pacers and Hardik Pandya.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting to see what call they make. Obviously, a lot will depend on the conditions. One more thing that India seems lacking in is an off-spinning option. Rohit Sharma has said that Washington Sundar and Ashwin will will be considered maybe for the World Cup.
Yeah, the proverbial door is not closed.
The doors are not closed for anybody. That's what the official line is.
Yeah.
So I think otherwise the bowling looks pretty well rounded. But that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of India would be forced to make a bowling change, looking at how the batting goes.
Right.
That's how it's going to be.
Yeah. Just a quick word on Shardul Thakur. Of course, the Lord's back. He's been in and out, and it's going to be an interesting toss-up between Akshar and Shardul, as Dhruva pointed out, for a couple of reasons. Let's not forget, Akshar is also an excellent fielder. Yeah. So at some point, that's going to kick in as well. Shardul, of course, has this happy knack of picking wickets, but he also has the happy knack of
doesn't know how he gets
those wickets, and he also tends to leak a lot of runs. Yeah. So as far as batting is concerned, you would imagine that impact-wise both are maybe on an even keel, if not exactly the same. I would probably rate at this point Akshar Patel as a better batter than Shardul Thakur. I think Shardul Thakur himself would agree to that. But interesting times ahead. Shubman Gill, of course, picked himself. There are quite a few names that picked themselves, and as far as the World Cup selection is concerned, I think that's going to be the case as well. Both chief selector and Rohit Sharma pointed out that they have time for the World Cup squad, to finalize the World Cup squad, that is. But one would imagine that it's going to be, the core of it is going to be the team that's going to travel to Sri Lanka. So before we wrap up, any closing thoughts on the team?
I think one thing we'll have to look out for in the Asia Cup, since it's being touted as a preparation for the World Cup, but India is like between a hard place and a rock, that kind of situation. It's like you want to play your best team, at the same time you want to make sure that the ones who are coming off injuries aren't rushed, or their workload is somehow managed, and at the same time you have 3 probable matches against Pakistan. So really, like, you can't really be playing not your best 11 against Pakistan. Right. So I think that will be something that the team will have to strike a balance between, like, you sure do have a World Cup and you sure do want to keep reserve players for that, but at the same time it is an Asia Cup. You are going to play good oppositions, so we'll have to see what the team goes up with.
Right. So yeah, as Dhruva said, testing times ahead for Team India and Captain Rohit Sharma, who's soon going to lead the team in his first World Cup.
And probably for the first time with full strength.
And probably with for the first time, hopefully, with a full strength squad at his disposal. But for now, yeah, all eyes are trained on how the team prepares for the Asia Cup and how it does there. Of course, Dhruva will be traveling to Sri Lanka to cover the Asia Cup, so do keep an eye out for his stories from ground zero. We'll be running daily blogs and giving you updates from the venue. And yeah, that would be all from our side. This is Ayan Acharya with Dhruva Prasad signing off. Thank you so much.